What's going on, everybody? It's Nick here, and Daima episode 10 is out, and this episode had a lot that went down, but not probably what you were expecting to go down. Now, of course, we did get, as everyone expected, from the end of episode one, last week's episode, Tamagami won and Majin Cou fought. That was going to happen. We kind of knew that was pretty much going to take place. I mean, Anrisu told him to go do it, so we knew it was going to happen with either in this next episode or the following episode. But it happened in this episode. But the other wild thing that came out of this was we had like this massive lore dump from Shin, which I'll get to. I'll get to all of that when I get there. So just like all my other reviews, there's going to be spoilers in this. There's going to be a little bit of information given about the series. I said the lore information I'm going to drop 100% spoilery. So if you do not want to be spoiled and you don't want to know anything about the video or how this episode played out, by all means, please go watch the episode first. Then once the episode's done, bring your way back over here and listen to my review and let me know, hey, did I miss something? Did I forget something? Did I say something wrong? Let me know in the comments below. But with all that said and done, that's been the spoiler warning. That's been your information given. Let's get into the review. Like I said, I'm gonna split it up into like two parts really, because I want to do the lore like separately at the end. So the first half of this episode, we're going to have two different parts for it. So I'm going to talk about the fight with Majin Cou and Tamagami 1, and then I'm going to talk about the stuff that went down with Goku and Vegeta and all of them, and then I'll get to that. But I'm going to do the Goku, Vegeta, and all that as a second. Okay, so let's talk about the fight with Cou and Tamagami 1. It went actually about somewhat how I kind of expected, and it does make me feel a little bit better about what I was kind of theorizing regarding the Tamagamis moving forward and what I hope to see from the Tamagami. So we see Majin Cou roll up to Tamagami 1. He said, yo, I'm Majin Cou, I want to fight. And Tamagami 1's like, really? He's like, yeah, I want to fight. So Tamagami 1 and Majin Cou get into it. Anrisu's right there. She's watching her creation fight. And Majin Cou fights like a chaotic, wild person who also has the weirdly kooky nature of just, honestly, kind of reminded me a little bit like Ace Ventura, the way he kept acting. But a friend of mine who watched a part of that fight when he was able to said, you know who Majin Cou reminds me of the way he's fighting? It's the Ginyu Force. And not so much like the way, not his fighting style, but like just how he is as a person. And I kind of disagree. He's right. The Ginyu Force, if you don't remember, were 5 very powerful individuals at the time of the story, but they were all extremely kooky and goofy and random and weird, and just they're over there playing freaking, you know, they were doing rock, paper, scissors to see who gets to fight. They were, you know, talking while Raccoon's fighting. Raccoon, you know, Jace and Berta were making commentary. Freaking Berter, I know Team 4-Star makes him more like a wrestler, but Berter's definitely has the inspiration of clearly a wrestler type of character. So the Ginyu Force was very much these type of guys that are like, we're very goofy, very weird, very off-putting for a lot of people, but very powerful for the time of the story. And honestly, Cou's a lot like that. He's laying into Tamagami 1. There's a couple of scenes, especially one scene in particular, where Cou blasts him with a beam straight from the mouth, and we see that this somewhat affected Tamagami 1. He was, you know, hunched over, smoke and steam was coming off of him. Clearly he felt that attack from Majin Cou, but it definitely didn't faze him because Tamagami 1 basically owned this entire fight. Tamagami 1 made no real effort to feel like he was struggling against Majin Cou. He pretty much manhandled Majin Cou through a majority of their fight. He was letting him get his shots in. He was willing to take the damage to really test out Majin Cou, but it just clearly wasn't enough to where Majin Cou was going to beat him. And so Majin Cou is like, all right, I lose, I concede, I'm out. And he dips out with Anrisu, and as they're, you know, they're flying away, you know, Dr. Anrisu's like, you know, I'm really disappointed in you. You weren't kind of what I expected. And, you know, Majin Cou's given this really funny thing where he's like, hey, I'm really strong, but that guy's even stronger. But you know what I am good at? I'm really fast. I'm really smart. You can take me shopping. I'll be great for shopping. Like, Majin Cou is definitely given much more of this gag, silly nature. He's not the serious character that I think a lot of people were kind of hoping he would have been more like. I've seen tons of fan art of him and all this stuff. Heck, I kind of expected the fight to go more like it was going to be a draw. I actually thought that Majin Kuu and Tamagami was going to be more of a draw, but it ended up being Tamagami was like, nah, straight up whoops his ass. So Majin Kuu either wasn't fully displaying what he's truly capable of, and we're going to see that later on, or Majin Kuu is not a threat to Tamagami 1. So maybe Tamagami 1's truly really up there in terms of strength and power, and he's a real genuine, I don't want to say threat, but like a genuine threat, I guess I have a better word for it, to the cast, because Majin Kuu didn't do anything against him, and he's supposed to be, you know, clearly stronger than Kid Buu, and, you know, supposed to be able to somewhat rival Goku in this. I mean, she created him for this reason. So again, either Tamagami 1 is vastly stronger than we expected, or, you know, Majin Kuu just really wasn't displaying everything or full extent of his power, but the fight didn't go in his favor. He didn't win. He said, I lose, I dip out. He took off and left with Dr. Anrisu, and that's how the fight went. So if you were expecting Majin Kuu to get the win in this fight, he didn't. Tamagami 1 clearly had the edge throughout the entire fight, and Majin Kuu dipped out and left. So again, are we going to see more of Majin Kuu? Does he, you know, was he holding back some? Was he just kind of really testing the waters to see how it played out? Maybe, we don't know. But he's definitely a very kooky, very funny, very silly character. And if anything, he's a lot like Fat Buu. You know, Fat Buu is that kind of goofy, silly, quirky kind of character of the Boos, and then he got more serious when they flop in and went from Super Buu down that line. And then of course Kid Buu is also kind of quirky and kind of silly, but a little more serious. So this, between Majin Kuu and then all the concepts of Majin Buu that we had prior to in the Buu saga, it's clear that when Marba creates the Majin Buu characters, there's a bit of silly wackiness just within their DNA. Like it just seems to be a thing. Either they're just silly and kooky and goof around a lot, don't take things super serious. That seems to be consistent, because even Kid Buu was not super, like, if fights going down, he'll start goofing around mid-fight. So the Majin Buu characters are all very funny and very quirky, but hey, Majin Kuu did not win. So again, was that the full display of his powers? Are we going to see more later on? Is Tamagami 1 so powerful that even Majin Kuu can? We don't know, but we'll get to that at some point. We'll find out later on. So that fight's done with. So let's deal with Goku and Vegeta in the gang. So pretty much the primary of this was Goku and Vegeta going, you know, them getting into Demon World 2. They and once they get to Demon World 2, they get attacked by the demon police. And it's because Goma's actually watching them now. Goma's keeping track of where they're going and where they're at and all this stuff, or at least he can for the most part. There might be points where he can't see, but for the most part he can see. So, you know, he sends the military after them. A couple of ships show up when they get through the gate. Goku dispatches them pretty handily. They get attacked by a giant kraken octopus creature in the water, because like as soon as they get into Demon World 2, Shin's like, are the Krakens still here? And they're like, yeah, they're still here. And they're Krakens. They're giant octopus type of characters, and they get attacked by one. Panzi almost gets eaten. They save the Dragon Ball. It is what it is. But again, Goma, in regards to Goma, he knows where they are, and he took care, and so he's freaked out because Goma, he doesn't know what to do anymore, because when he sent the ships after Goku and them, Goku jumps out of his ship and takes care of, there was like 4 or 5 military police ships after him, and he took care of all of them. So Goma and Degasi are like, holy crap, like he's a lot stronger than we actually anticipated, because they knew he was strong before they made the wish, right? Because they're watching the Majin Buu stuff, they're looking at the scene, so they knew he was already strong enough to take down Majin Buu and contest with Majin Buu. But now, even as a shrunk down kid, hardly anything's slowing him down. Yeah, Goma and Tagami were like, bro, we severely underestimated this guy, and the rest of his teams, the rest of his crew is with him too. Like, I don't know what we're gonna do. I really don't know. Like, so they're freaking out and whatnot. So Goma's like, bring all the military police to Demon World 1. They're pretty much, he's surrounding his palace so that he can be protected from Goku and them, so he can just send the whole military. So what Goma is going to plan to do after he gets the whole military there to protect him in Demon World 1, I don't know. Dr. Unrisu, again, is keeping her intentions and Majin Kuu hidden for now. For me, Goma's not the main threat. It's clear as day at this point. Goma's not the main threat of the series. He's clearly not as strong as everyone hypes him up, because he never tried to. He knows he can't fight the Tamagamis, so he never went after the Tamagamis. But the fact that Goku went after the Tamagamis and beat him, he's like, so Goma is definitely not going to be the final threat. And if he is, there's got to be a massive shift. Like, he's got to get the big power, or he's got to do something, because as of right now, Goma is not the real threat. Glorio is more of a threat, in my opinion, and he's working with them. Though a friend of mine thinks there's going to be a big triple betray, and I even said this on the podcast that I have on my episode, if you guys get around to watching that as well. Glorio might be doing a triple betrayal thing where he's working with Onrisu, but he's going to betray her, and he's working with Goku, but he's going to betray him because he is betraying Goku to work with Onrisu. So, me and a couple of my friends are like, maybe we'll full on get this story that's never happened in Dragon Ball 4 with a full on triple betrayal, and Glorio might be the final boss in the end. Who knows, right? But it's just a theory right now. But Goma's definitely not the main threat as of right now. With all that said and done, after Goku and them lose their ship, they fly off and come across. Shin tells them, hey, we're not too far from the original home of the Namekians. Because you got to remember, the demon realm is an entire realm in and of itself. There are planets that exist within the demon realm as well. So the demon realm is a giant realm all of itself. You know how we have like the universes with universe 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way through, right? So that's one realm. That's the mortal realm. And then you have the demon realm, and they have their own set of planets and their own set of universe things. I think the demon realm only has one general universe, but technically they have all the realms, and there's planets within each realm. So, and again, said a couple episodes ago and a couple reviews ago, both the Glens and the Namekians are from Demon World 2. So they fly off, land on the planet Namek that the Namekians used to live on in the demon realm. And it's desolate, it's destroyed, it's pretty messed up, and Goku and them are waiting for Vegeta and Bulma and them to get over there. They, of course, make it over into the Demon World 2, and Goku comes and gets them, brings them to the planet, and so they're all meeting up on planet Namek, which is when, and they start talking to Shin. Before I tell you the story about Shin, because that's the back half of the story of the episode I want to talk about. Hibis in this episode is definitely being one of my favorite characters in the series so far. And it's solely because it keeps messing with Vegeta. He doesn't care about one bit who Vegeta thinks he is or what Vegeta puts off. He does not care one bit, because when they're flying into the ring realm before Goku gets there to meet up with them, Bulma's talking about how young she looks and she loves him and she won't change back, and Hibis is like, you look pretty cute, I'll make you my girlfriend, and Vegeta freaks out. He's like, no, that's my wife, we're married, how dare you? And Hibis is like, I don't care, you can be married, she still be my girlfriend. And Vegeta's losing it, and Vegeta's telling Bulma, we're gonna get the Dragon Balls, we're gonna wish back to be normal, we're not staying little brats anymore. And then Hibis turns to Vegeta and he's like, oh, you want to change back because you like big boobs, don't you? And Vegeta gets flustered, freaks out, and he's like, and the Piccolo in the back's like, oh, so Hibis was right, that's why you want to turn back, you want Bulma to basically go back to her big boobs. And bro, Hibis is easily the most fun character to watch in the show, because he straight up does not fucking care about how Vegeta feels. He's just doing whatever he wants, says whatever he wants. Hibis is like my favorite character in the series so far out of the cast that we're getting. And again, like I said in last week's review, I hope Hibis comes back in Super. I doubt it, but I would like to see Hibis come back in Super just to pick fights with Vegeta. Like, that's what I want from Hibis, just to come back, pick fights with Vegeta, and then go back to the Demon World. That's what I want to happen so bad. I love Hibis. So when they all get back to that planet Namek, and they again have Shin tell them about the history of Demon World 2 and his history as a Glen, he's like, okay, I'll tell you the story of what happened with my people and why we left, and pretty much the whole concept of why Namekians were leaving and these other people were leaving and all this. So And I know this is going to be a hot contention for some people, given what we know with Super, but let me lay it out, and then we'll discuss it, at least how I took this backstory lore that Shin was giving. So, Shin told the story basically why the Glens and so many people from the Demon Realm left the Demon Realm. And as he put it, when the original, or not the original, when the good Supreme Demon King was in order, and this is before Deborah, this is before Abora, he didn't give a name, but he called him the good Supreme Demon King. He ordered the super powerful Super Majin Raimus to create the universes, and the universe as a whole. Now, it's basically the mortal realm, because the demon realm already exists, right? So, the good Supreme Demon King wants to expand the demon realm, wants to expand, knowing people. So he asked the Supreme, super powerful Super Majin Raimus to create the universe, which is basically create the mortal realm. So, apparently, Majin Raimus, this super powerful being, is the reason the mortal realm exists. He created all the different universes that exist within the mortal realm. So I know for like the longest time, people were like, okay, well, Zeno is, viewed as the top tier dude of the god hierarchy, but he's just a child, so he's got to have a dad, right? I'm not saying Majin Raimus is the dad, but if you want to look at it from this perspective, I guess you could say Majin Raimus would be the dad, which never really led to Zeno taking over. Again, Super was the first to introduce Zeno, and nobody knew about Zeno before that, so I don't see Zeno being mentioned in this series, but Majin Raimus is the creator of the mortal realm and all the universes that exist within the mortal realm. So all universes 1 through 13 and the ones that existed prior to Zeno destroying them, he created all those universes and the entire mortal realm. After he created all the different universes and the mortal realm as a whole, it led to many of the Majins, the creatures of the demon realm, leaving and going to these different universes, which is why we have Yardrats in Universe 6 and Universe 7. It's why we have Saiyans in Universe 6 and Universe 7. Why we have Namekians in Universe 6 and Universe 7. Because they all left and they went to all the different universes that Majin Raimus created. And so that's why they're split. Because they all just didn't go to one place. And which, again, once we had that with Super and the introduction of how Universe 6 had the different ones, it's clear that there was that split. So after Raimus created it, a lot of the Majin left and found new homes throughout the universes that had been created. While doing this, after he did this, Raimus went to the Glens and chose specific Glens at the time to become the Supreme Kais to watch over all these universes. And there's a shot in the episode where when Shin's telling the story, you see Gowasu, Shin, a lot of the Kais from the other universes that we knew from Super, right? Now, he's not saying like at the time, because again, later in the story, he explains when he became the Supreme Kai, but he was just like, in this moment, he's like, Raimus chose Glens from our realm that he felt were worthy to become Supreme Kais to watch over the other universes. And it was just showing, currently that we know. I think this scene was solely, this particular shot of all the different Supreme Kais was done solely for us, the viewers that have watched Super, who know about all the other Kais and all the other universes, right? So that was like a shot more so for us. But we do know the Glens live a long time, the Kais live a long time anyway, so it makes perfect sense that some of these might be original Supreme Kais that he chose. Like we saw Gowasu might have been originally chosen when Raimus originally picked, but Raimus chose the witch Glens to become Supreme Kais, and those left with Raimus when he made that decision. After all this went down, Deborah's father Abora said, you know what? All these different species that got created with the creation of the outside universe of the mortal realm, I fear that they're a threat. I fear that they'll become a threat to the demon realm. So Abora, Deborah's father, closes all the realms to the mortal realm, which is why no one can get to them without special passcodes. That's why they can't get out to the mortal realm without special passcodes. is because Abora thought if you leave the gates open and freely, because they used to be able to freely pass through them, he was like, if you leave them open, the creatures and species that were created from Rimus's creation could become a threat to the demon realm. So he's like, nope, I'm not doing that. He closes it off, and after he closes it off, Abora gets a lot more cruel, a lot more vicious, a lot more mean, which, as Shin was telling it, due to this cruelty, the rest of the Glens that remained here rebelled against him and left the demon realm. Shin was still there when that revolt happened during Abora's time as the Demon King. After that revolt, Shin and the rest of the Glens left the demon realm and went to the mortal realm, which is when Shin was chosen to take over as the Supreme Kai. Now we know from Original Z that Shin was a Supreme Kai along with the other 3 Kais and the Grand Supreme Kai. So after he left the demon world, that's probably when like the Grand Supreme Kai probably chose him to join him and be a part of the Supreme Kais. And lastly, what Shin was saying during this was he came to reveal that the Glen trees that the Glens are born from, they're all gone. They've died off. So no more Kais can be born. No more Glens can be born. And Bulma's like, so you're a dying breed? And he goes, yeah, we are. So the Supreme Kais, the Glens, who everyone, all of them, all the different universes, Degasu, Anrisu, King Kai, Grand Supreme Kai, Grand Kai, Shin, all the ones from the other ones, they're all a dying breed. They're all a dying breed because they can't be created anymore because the trees that create them no longer exist. This was a massive lore dump. Massive lore dump. And I know it's gonna bother a lot of people with like, oh, well, I thought Zeno was the creators of the universe. And from what I remember with Super, Zeno has always been exalted as the ruler or the grand destroyer of the universe, because we never see Zeno destroy anything. I mean, we never see Zeno create anything. We always see him destroy something. So a lot of the theories was, okay, well, if there's this Zeno character that destroys and he's basically the head destroyer, there has to be a creator, right? There has to be one. And we thought that was the Kais, but clearly, while the Kais may be responsible for growing creation and growing populations, they're not the reason the creation of the universes exist. And apparently who it was the Super Majin Rimus. So they never said Rimus is gone, just that he was the one that created all the universes and all of that. So you have your creation person in Rimus, you have your destroyer person and Zeno, and then inevitably with the super and the gods and all this stuff. But there were this story from Shin was a massive lore dump, and I know it's going to rub some people the wrong way. I don't think it really breaks anything because we've never really been told how the creation of anything happened. Well, there you go. It was Majin Rimus, this super powerful being that he created the universes of the mortal realm, and the mortal realm came to be through Majin Rimus. So it was a great, I think the episode was super enjoyable. The fighting aspect of it was super enjoyable. The lore was super enjoyable. I didn't expect this review to take as long as it's about to, but I felt like I really had to talk about the lore. The lore stuff, that was a massive lore dump, but the fighting stuff was really enjoyable. It was just a really fun, enjoyable episode. Had a good time with it. I was laughing my ass off with Kuu being as weird and quirky as he is. Hibis makes me laugh super hard because of how much crap he gives Vegeta at all times, and the lore that was given to the about the creation of the universe, that was crazy. And to hear that the Glens, the Kais are all basically a dying breed. It clearly part of the creation of Daima was Shin was a big key focal point about this, and this is kind of why I can see now how Shin was another main protagonist of this series, because he is super important, because there's a lot of story involved with his species and his people. And I feel bad for Shin. I really do, man. It puts you in perspective for a lot of the Kais and a lot of stuff that revolves around them and all of that stuff. It makes you feel more worried about the Kais. So I think it was a great episode, really fun and enjoyable. Nothing like super crazy, but again, the fight with Kuu is probably what's going to draw most of you, and that's okay. Next week's episode, definitely from the preview, Vegeta is going to be fighting Tamagami 2. Will he need help? Will he need Goku's help? Who knows? Will he need, how strong is Tamagami 2? Who knows? We'll see next week's episode. And I look forward to giving you the review then. I hope to God it's not near as long. So with that, this is about my review for the episode. Oh, almost forgot. Shin pointed out one big key detail that I think the rest of the fandom needs to pay attention and just accept, because for weeks I've been hearing so many of you say, oh, the Saiyans must be from the demon realm because the Ozoru transformation has pointed ears, and pointed ears mean demon realm. Even though in episode 2 they straight tell you not everyone that has pointed ears is from the demon realm, you guys just wouldn't listen. Well, guess what? This episode and Shin's story, and Shin specifically straight tells them because Bulma asks, so wait, does that mean everyone is descended from Majins and from people of the demon realm? And Shin goes, no. For example, Earthlings and Saiyans are not descended from anyone in the demon realm. They are solely a creation of the mortal realm. So all of you that have been screaming and ranting and raving for the last 10 weeks that the Saiyans are from the demon realm, no, they're not. This just proves it. Shin straight up tells you that Earthlings and Saiyans were created when Raimus created the universes. So stop with the stupid theories that the Saiyans are from the demon realm, because you've been proven wrong. They're not from the demon realm. They're from the mortal realm. So stop it with the stupid theories, and we will see you guys next time on my next review of Dragon Ball Daima.